Nails are cute.
They need to be done. So the reason I've made this appointment is because I'm questioning things, and it's so I've always lived by the, your tribe is your vibe, sort of like people in your life are sort of on the same level of you morally and ethically speaking and stuff. And I get that people have all sorts of different beliefs and opinions. It's just, I would have called I consider myself a really open-minded person. In the past, I would have said that I was a non-judgmental person. I have to admit that I personally think we're all judgmental in a sense. But I've been told recently, numerous times, that I'm closed-minded, ignorant, and unwilling to basically even open myself up to possibilities. And
really?
And it's my favorite thing we talk about, Ellie. Okay, so when I left here last week and went to hers, right? Now, what gets me is she constantly talks about having a debate, right? And I'm like, at no point in the year and a half that I've known you have I ever wanted to debate anything with you. I was like, these conversations keep happening, and we are very, very much on opposing sides. And the reason I needed to talk to you is because the particular conversations we're having, and I'm just working my way up to talk about it, are things that I can't even bring myself to say to somebody in my life. It's so bad in my head to the point where even with my videos, I was questioning, am I going to release this? Because so she's a Trump supporter. We've talked about this. Now, she believes, again, I'm incredibly ignorant, right? She says it to me, that I don't know what I'm talking about. And in the past, it's because of what I believe, and I believe we're all connected, and I'm very about inclusivity and people being, together. I'm not someone who can separate feelings from, because she just keeps telling me that feelings are not a part of politics. And I'm like, well, I would disagree because, anyway, she just keeps telling me that I take everything too personally, that I obviously don't have enough people in my life to show me that I'm taking everything the wrong way, that I'm obviously super closed-minded. Anyway, I'd gotten to the point where it's like, okay, I believe that she's in my life for a reason. Besides politics, we get along pretty well. And she is teaching me more than anyone in my whole life how to stay calm when I want to flip my shit, yeah?
Okay.
So after I left here, I went to hers, and then the conversation, and this is where I really struggled. And I was so proud of myself because I had to get up and walk out of the room to breathe. And I remember saying to her, I'm not leaving, I'm not walking out in a half, because we've both done it so many times. I was like, but I am really struggling with this conversation because it was physically affecting me to the point where I was having what felt like a panic attack.
So you effectively communicated, DBT Queen, your needs and your feelings at the time that you couldn't communicate with her in a way and maintain your emotional regulation, and so you needed to implement a stop skill moment. Stop, take a step back, reflect.
Well, wait until I tell you what it is the conversation went to. And this is where I'm starting to be like, am I so ignorant that I just missed stuff? But she's on Russia's side. She believes that Putin is right, that Russia is the one that She believes that Russia did not start the war, that they had to do what they did. She's fully in support of everything to do with Russia. And it's just even saying that out loud to you, it's making me shake. I can feel my heart beating 1,000 times. And she keeps saying to me, it's not personal. Why do you make it personal? It doesn't affect you. And I was like, it's a fucking war. I was like,
it kind of affects
all of us. Yeah. And then she gets into these debates, and her favorite thing to say to me is, I research everything. And I just kept saying to her, unless you're researching correctly with peer-reviewed proper fucking facts, I said, you're just buying into it. And she has an answer for everything, and it's gotten to the point where she keeps bringing it up, and I say to her, I don't want to talk about Trump. I don't want to talk about how you think Russia is in the right. And that's when she starts saying to me, you're ignorant. You don't know anything. You are so closed-minded. You won't open up your eyes to see that Russia's correct. And I'm saying to her, you don't understand how much this matters to me. I said, I wouldn't have a friend in my life that truly believes this. And she's like, I would never judge you because you believe, that Trump shouldn't be, or that Russia is in the wrong. And I was like, but you are welcome to judge me. I said, because I actually am judging you. Because to me, the fact that you are actually one, and I'm telling you, she will fucking go head to head to the point where I have to say, I need to stop the conversation. Like, I can physically feel sitting in this room with you right now, how it makes me feel.
Okay.
So you can imagine what it's like when she's doing it to my face.
So I think we need to sidebar that bit, and we have to talk about what friendship is.
That's why I'm here.
So what are the values that
because I am questioning
with a good friend. So what is a good friend? Let's remove Ellie and the whole conversation with Ellie. Let's just.
So I mean,
to me, we'll come back, but let's.
Yeah. Well, because the reason I'm here is because I am struggling with
a good friend.
How it is that I have her in my life.
Let's talk about what's good about friendship. So let's pretend like it's your 75th birthday.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm going to go trust is probably the most important thing for me.
Your best friend stands up at this thing, and they start talking, oh no, you're at their birthday. Let's make it that you're at their birthday. And we don't know who your best friend is when you're 75 because things change, right? So it's this faceless person who's your best friend. You have all this love and compassion for them. You say, I love this person because what?
I trust them. They trust me. There's support. We've got each other's backs. We are on the same page when it comes to morals and ethics.
In what way?
I guess for me, I'm always going to need people who are more about bringing people together.
So you want in your friendships trust?
Yeah.
Reciprocal trust?
Yeah.
We want to have reciprocal support.
Mm-hmm.
Reciprocal being all the right words. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We want someone who shares let's call it a humanistic moral view of the world.
Yeah, look, I get we all have different opinions.
So compassionate view of
the
world.
And empathy and all that.
So these are your core values when it comes to friendships.
Yeah.
So then in every friendship that you're in, you need to be reciprocating honesty, reciprocating trust, reciprocating compassionate, humanistic view of the world, and the other one that I've just now forgotten, which is fine. You have to do those things in every relationship, and if you're not, you need to ask yourself, why not? What about this is not fit my value system? That's everything that matters to me. The words, when you look in the mirror and resonate, are the ones that matter. You can only have 4 or 5 for every category. Your partner, it might be, for example, partners. What makes a good partner?
Basically, all the things I just said.
It has to be different from a friend.
Well, yeah, but the difference is sex.
No, you can have sex with your friends if you want to, and that's appropriate if that's what they want to too.
True.
So what's different about a friend versus a partner?
I guess the level of intimacy, and again, I'm not meaning sexual, I'm just meaning,
Intimacy.
yeah. God, it's been so fucking long. That,
So you're my partner when we're at our 50th wedding anniversary. I'll be dead, but that's okay. In this pretend la la world, okay. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't say, "Oh, look, she's got great hair and fabulous shoes." I mean,
that's materialistic, yeah.
Also true,
but
yeah,
yeah.
At the time, I don't want him to say, oh, because she cooked, because we all know I don't do that.
No.
So he'll say things like, "Always there, had my back."
Yeah, exactly.
I could tell her anything and feel safe.
Yeah, that's important.
I could, whatever. Some people's partners would say things like loyal. Never had to worry about anybody else. Other people's partners are like, I don't care if they have an affair. Loyalty's not a big deal to me. Values change based on people. It doesn't matter. My value system, your value system, they're different. We only get 3 or 4 buzzwords, and I might not pick the same 4.
I get that.
Okay? And then we look at our lives and we say, okay, let's look at friendship, for example. Well, if my friend thinks that I need to be like, let's say, participate. One of your values we've talked about before is that they have to be engaged and participate. Okay? Well, sometimes I leave my friends on red for a little while because I go off and have competing values and competing priorities. I can't get to them again. And then 3 weeks later, I'm like, oops. And then I'm like, hey, sorry about that. Yes, let's do dinner.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as that. I still value it. Sometimes I have to step back and reflect, am I doing what I need to be doing in this?
Well, that's where I'm
Here's
getting
where you are.
stuck.
You need to reflect. Are you doing the things that matter? If your values are participation, trust,
I trust her.
compassion.
See, this is where it becomes confusing because she's a very passionate and empathetic person for certain things.
Humanistic view of the world.
She said to me, and I think it was only yesterday that I seen her, she said to me, she cannot believe that someone would end a friendship because of a political view.
It's not because of a political view.
That's what I reckon. And she just keeps telling me, you're taking it too personally. There's no feelings in politics.
I don't get to have an opinion on the Russia issue. But the issue that I have with the interaction is that then there's an attack on you because of it. So it's actually not that you don't believe Russia's right and she does believe Russia's right. It's that you say, I don't believe Russia's right, and then she says, but you're wrong. And you don't know, and you're ignorant.
I'm ignorant.
You're, those are attacks. That's not.
That would explain why I get worked up then, because she just keeps saying.
Because if I said to you, like, if I said to you I was a Trump supporter, so, and you said, well, I'm a Biden supporter, I could go, and you can go, and we can move right along with our happily ever after. We can even say, you know what, Trump has better hats, or Biden has better rallies, or whatever. Also does the Rolex. Neither one of us can vote. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I keep saying to her. I don't want to have these conversations, and yet every single time I see her, they get brought up.
The issue is not the political issue. The issue is the attack as a consequence. So if you have an opinion, and it doesn't even have to be political, what's your favorite color?
Green.
My favorite color is blue. You're wrong.
Exactly. That's how it feels.
You're wrong. Green shit. Why green? It's just because you haven't seen the right color blue. It's just because you haven't done the right thing.
The
It's
way
just
you
because of that.
oh, that's exactly how she makes me
So
feel.
it's irrelevant what you're actually talking about. The issue is the interaction in which you have. So when we go back to that, we talk about in your value system, perhaps these might not be your words, but maybe they really are. How about acceptance, respect?
What's
You say, I don't want to talk about that, and your friend doesn't respect you. You say, my favorite color is green, and they say, well, what the fuck, Liv? It's actually blue. It's not. You can have green, and I can appreciate, even though you're wrong, that that's your favorite color, and I can support you with all of your green stuff, and I can go with all the blue, and we can live happily ever after. But what we can't do is attack each other based on our ideals and our values. That's a disrespect. That's not compassionate support. That's not trust. That's not compassion. That's not your friendship values.
Yeah, so this is, I guess, where I'm becoming confused, because I do really genuinely like her. She's coming to graduation, and I've questioned myself about, is it because she's the one person I see frequently? She's the only person I see in reality, and a part of me does question that.
So
and
are we really friends, or is it just because if I'm not her friend, then I don't have another friend?
That's why I'm in therapy. That's what I'm here today.
I'm not here to tell you the answers.
No, I know, but I needed to talk it out,
But
and
you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
have it in me to say to a single person that I know that she supports Russia. I know for a
Don't.
fact, every single person I know will be like, what the fuck, Liv?
Also, it's her opinion, and it's not for
No.
not for you to justify or
No, I know.
any of her opinions. Her opinion is her opinion, and she can justify it all.
I've accepted that she's a Trump supporter, and I've said to her, you want to support Trump? Fine. But I don't want to have these conversations, and it's always...
Has she done her research? I mean...
Oh, as far as she knows, she's the research queen, and yet she continuously gives me this information. I jump on, it's false news. And I'm going, you're not and I've told her, I'm a uni student. I know how to research. When Trump was running for the first time, everyone knew about the fake news coming out and all this stuff. Whereas she does all of her research, and I would put money on it. Most of it's based on Facebook, right? Yeah.
Some reputable news agencies have Facebook pages.
I like her in regards to so much, and I do believe she's very much helping me, because you've no idea how I have thrown her out of my house and stormed out of hers so many times, and now I can sit through it.
All I'm gonna say is that if you don't find a way in a friendship to live and find that they live in accordance with your values, there will be psychological discord or conflict.
It's
so you will either feel like you will start to compromise who you are, or you will feel that the relationship is missing significant aspects, and it will eat away at it one way or another. It doesn't mean that you can't rectify it. It doesn't mean that you can't highlight...
I told her I was coming to therapy.
...gaps in your relationship, highlight gaps in values, and start working towards it. Like my friends that I leave on red, support being a really important value for me. I mean, it's what I do for a living, right? And I do it for everybody else.
Yeah. No, you're fantastic.
And so sometimes my friends don't get that. So sometimes I need to take little steps towards getting back in line with the values that really matter to me. I can't just be like, tomorrow I'm going to be supportive. I swear. I embody it, and I start working towards it, and I make things happen, and I take steps and progress in a certain way. It's the same for everything. You can rectify it with your friend, but not if we don't identify the actual issue. And the actual issue is not that she's a Trump supporter, believes in Russia, or whatever situation it is. It's that you're not allowed to not.
Thank you. Because that's what's been getting to me. Because I don't know all the ins and outs yet. Because she starts saying to me something about, what was it, Ukraine had positioned all these freaking, I don't know, bombs or nuclear missiles at Russia. And she goes, they put them up. Apparently, there was some peace talk. They wouldn't take them down, so Russia fired first. So I said, well, black and white, Russia is the one who started it.
I think that there's more to the Russia and Ukrainian conflict.
Don't know enough, so she uses it against me.
In the last 5 years, there's
that's what she keeps saying.
Lots of historical.
Hence, I'm ignorant, according to her.
Well, we don't know.
I might be,
and we're allowed to have an opinion either way. I don't know the answers to a lot of things, because I can't know everything, but I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, I think that's where it's getting me, because it makes me worked up.
And you're saying I can't have an opinion. If I express an opinion, then my opinion is immediately invalidated, and then I personally am attacked.
Yeah.
Because I am ignorant, dumb, misinformed,
close-minded.
Well,
no one's ever called me close-minded before, ever.
It's not close-minded to have an opinion. It's close-minded to staunchly stand by an opinion when as new facts come out. So once upon a time, Olivia, smoking was good for you. You know, like this was a real thing. Like, and so were addictive medicines like Valium and Coke had cocaine in it. Like, right? There were things that happened, and if having an opinion and saying, well, I will forever believe that cocaine should be in Coke, that is not faced with now the information that we have. That would be being closed-minded.
Yeah.
Because as new, reputable information is coming out to us, we now know smoking causes cancer. Cocaine is not good for you. Drugs are bad, okay? Like, there's a whole thing about it. And if we were unwilling to take into consideration significant amounts of science research, and not just scientific, because based on political whatever, but if we were unwilling to face fact, that's closed-mindedness.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's not closed-minded to have an opinion to say, I'm going to smoke anyway. Or I am going to take recreational substances, which you shouldn't do. But you know what I'm saying? Like you can have an opinion and have that be your opinion.
I've gone to the point where I've actually let her explain to me all the reasons why she thinks Trump is amazing, right?
It's like not fair.
I've gone to that level. I was like, okay, I will hear you out. I want to know. And I will concede to facts where they are, but I'm not going, like I said to her, nothing is going to make me a Trump supporter, and no way in how do I think what Russia's done is okay.
So when we talk about emotions, I think what she's referencing is Trump. I think that a lot of people can say categorically, here's some evidence that Trump has done some good things for the country.
That's where she's going.
Of the U.S., right? Mm-hmm. So Trump has been successful as a president in implementing certain policies and
I heard her out for those
that have been, quote, positive for the country. Positive for the country also is significantly biased based on perspective, because what's good for one person is often not good for another person, and who gets what and what's right and stuff.
Well, she keeps bringing up the Stormy Daniels thing and the judge and the this and the that. And
okay, he's done some good. Let's say he's done some good. Mm-hmm. But then there's also emotion that goes with Trump. Okay, there's emotion which comes with his alleged ways with women and consent.
According to her, that's just dry humor.
And
I have dry humor some of the time, but
based on perspective, I think it's probably his perspective, and I think that the women may feel otherwise.
I'm with you. I agree.
But I think at the end of the day, if we don't take into consideration, if we only look at an algorithmic success versus failure, at the end of the day, we are always looking at judgment about, here's the information, how much information do we need to make a choice? Mm-hmm. And so you might have some information that says Trump has done this for the country, but then you might have an emotion that goes with some of his attitudes or reputation with women.
Exactly.
Consent, and as a consequence, you'd never be a supporter, even though he may do something phenomenal for the country. But at the same time, people will have exactly at the other side. People will have the same opinions about, the current president and the way that he has probably been perhaps less, quote, effective as a president, but has a greater character. But then there's character, who decides what the character is. And, at the end of the day, does emotion have a place in politics? Well, not for factual evidence, but for people vote. And there's a famous expression, people vote with their feet. And emotion is what drives people's behavior, not facts often.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think it's the fact that I have now said, because these conversations are happening every single time, to the point where I've said to her, you are not to talk about politics with my mother on any level, because I'm terrified what will happen if she starts talking about how she supports Russia, because I know my mum will be like, what the fuck is this woman in your life for?
I think the issue again is not her opinions based on any of these things, whether Trump or whatever, we're talking about it as a decision tree. It's about our brains being focused on having certain amounts of information, and each person bases their opinions and their actions, which are led by opinion, which is based on often evidence and emotion.
Yeah.
We make decisions with what we've got at the time. At the time, smoking was good for you. At the time, this is what was happening. At the time, that was what was happening.
Yeah.
And being closed-minded is about not being willing to alter your opinion as new evidence comes out. You're not closed-minded because you're willing to say, okay, look, if I found the perfect shade of blue, I'd consider it. That's all.
Yeah.
Or if somebody other than Trump or Biden wanted to run, I'd look at them too.
I personally think someone else should be running, let's face it. But
But it's not up to you or me, and it's not going to be either one of us.
It's like yesterday, the last thing she said to me walking out the door was, you're one person, you're never going to make a difference, so who cares? And I'm like, one person has proven throughout history that they can make differences.
If you make a difference to one other person in this whole wide world, then your life will be worthwhile.
Yeah,
so
no, I agree.
What does it, and that's the issue. So it's not about one person not making a difference to millions and millions and billions of other people. It's how we deem success.
I've changed her life. She's a completely different person. Well, she's getting there, and she's helping me because, I don't storm out.
Been successful. And at the end of the day, those are your opinions about success. But my issue with your relationship with Ellie is nothing to do with her opinions or her emotions or anything that goes with it. It's how, when you express an alternative opinion, you're telling me that then you subsequently are made to feel less.
So much. And then as soon as I'm made to feel less, she then goes in on me.
That's not trust, and that's not safe. And so my question is not, what do we need to do to change the trust and safety in your relationship with Ellie? What can we do? Because you also both have to be willing to do so.
Look, I think she's struggling in the sense of, because I've been quite open saying I've never had a person ever in my life who has such opposing beliefs to me. And I could see that she was becoming sort of upset, and the whole, why are you judging me? And I'm like, because these things are massive to me, and what I believe is my driving force for life, right? I can't be that person who just goes, fuck the world and everything in it, because I know what will happen.
So the problem is that you're engaged, I think this is about the Russia thing, and it's not as simple as saying for you that, because if this was about something else, I'd be like, okay, well, every time she talks about Russia, you say green or blue, and every time you say this, she says blue, whatever. Favorite color thing. But that's actually not what you're talking about. What you're talking about is not the missiles and the country and where the line is in the sand. What you're talking about is human life.
Yeah.
You're talking about the cost of war, not who should get this piece of dirt.
Yeah.
And you're talking about different things. I think that you and your friend can both agree that the cost of human life isn't reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's not.
She agreed with that.
Yeah. So you're actually agreeing on the human values that are here. And that's why your relationship has continued. Because if it was as simple as, I believe in killing children for the sake of a piece of dirt, you probably would say, well, unfortunately, we're not going to be reasonable.
Well, she used an example that the example she gave me just threw me. And I think that's when I was like, okay, fuck it, I need to talk to you. Because the example she gave me was, if New Zealand aimed missiles at Australia, Australia would be in the right to fire first. And she was like, but New Zealand still is the one that technically started the war. And I was like, and then yesterday she uses the example of, if I had a neighbour across the road and they set up a shotgun at me, I'd shoot first. And I was like, but everything you're saying is on the defensive. I'm like, the person who shoots or sends the missiles is first. And it's just...
Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you a secret about you. You don't care about the line in the sand or the piece of dirt or who did what first. You care about
the lives.
At the end, somebody gets shot with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Or at the end, something gets hit by a bomb or a missile or whatever we're going to call it.
Yep.
That's the issue that you're fighting about.
Yes.
And she's not fighting about that. She's fighting about a principle of who said what said. And
That's what she said.
This. But, as a consequence, you're trying to defend innocence.
That's all I care about.
And she's saying nothing about that.
I managed to get her to agree on a technicality that Russia had started the war. And I was like, you just admitted it. But then again, it's all I want is to figure out a way.
I don't know who shot first. I wasn't there.
Oh, look,
but
all I know is...
it doesn't matter who shot first, because the reality is that there's a significant amount of suffering. And
exactly.
I can't probably, as a human, one person, stop it.
No.
And I hope that all of the work that we do here and elsewhere and other platforms and stuff will hopefully reduce the suffering of people that I can't prevent pain from.
Exactly.
That's all we can do.
See, I like having her in my life, and
so
she really is teaching me how to be calm.
This is her saying, let's differentiate the difference between emotion and politics. So who did what and what went first, and here's the signature, and that's the thing.
I don't know how to keep...
separate thing, because we're not talking, for you, the issues are so connected that, she says, well, they pointed a missile first, and you're like, there shouldn't be missiles.
That's exactly it.
It doesn't matter who pointed them. When they explode, it's bad.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who did what. When people die, it's bad.
I said to her, I mean, we were when the war became full on, and we were all sort of, it was all over the world.
Don't get her started on the Middle East, please.
I'm not. I'm trying to figure out how to get her away from all of these conversations.
That's just not.
I will say that I'm incredibly proud of myself when it comes to the fact that I've gotten way better at calming myself. Look, it does get me, and that's what she keeps coming back to. You take it personally. You take it personally. And I don't know how not to take it,
because everyone takes human soul.
Well, I would have
Most
also.
people take human suffering personally. You see human suffering, you feel for human suffering, you want to prevent human suffering and minimize that. And it feels like, when you said to me that she feels that Russia is, quote, right, it didn't, or started it or whatever.
Yeah, just fully in support of Russia.
I'm not talking, in my head, the assumption my brain goes to is not who did what first, it's bomb explode. And so then my brain goes to human suffering and emotional support, and my emotional outpouring of support for that. She's on a political agenda, so there are different issues. She is talking about something different, and you both agree human suffering is terrible.
Yes.
then your relationship is okay. It's not right. So then it says when she starts talking about Russia, you need to differentiate the difference between its blue and its green.
I think I did that better yesterday because the conversation came up and I was like, we are going around in circles.
Yeah.
I'm super duper over this. I'm like, you can have your opinions and I'm going to have mine. And I was like, look, I don't want to come across as rude. I was like, but I've been telling you for a long time, I believe you're in my life for a reason. I genuinely want her in my life. I know myself. I've cut people off finding out they're Trump supporters when the first time he ran for presidency, right? And I've grown so much.
Even the Trump thing, it's not about his actual policies. It's about his character and what that has, and the issues that raises for you. And that's the thing, when we talk about it, it's actually not, his stance on, I don't know, parking. It's his character that you have the issue with.
Exactly.
And, when we take all that stuff away and we say, well, is this policy on parking, excluding author's name, appropriate or not? Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I also haven't read it. But
I'm struggling with the fact that, and I can only explain it in the way I remember it back when Trump was running the first time. Yeah. And again, there was all these researchers coming out of the woodworks and all of this stuff. You will remember that, yeah? And her answer is, I research everything. I know for a fact she's using sites that aren't real. I've tried to explain this, I've get nowhere, so I've stopped.
So there's a few issues. The issues are, yes, you're talking about different things. Yes, you can agree to the value that humans shouldn't suffer, and there's hope for you yet. But there's still the issue of when you have an opposing opinion, whether it's about pink or blue, or green or blue, or Trump or Biden, or which research to read and which not to read. The issue remains that then there's an attack on your character.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that until you
That's
said
the
it.
issue. And
because that's what's getting to me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I can't breathe because I'm being told I'm ignorant and all of these things.
Okay, so when we have a difference of opinion, how can we then just disagree without it being an attack? Without it being, but have you read this? But what about that? But. How about we just disagree?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How, like, she's coming to mine tomorrow to help me get my house in order.
So we're going to say to her, how are we going to disagree? Because you do disagree. And when you disagree,
I'm here with you because I cannot bring myself to tell a single person.
No one has to agree. I mean,
do you understand? I know technically with your what you do, you're not meant to have an opinion. But can you sort of see why I feel like telling people that I've got someone in my life who fully is in support of Russia, everything is just something I don't want to even broach?
I think if you tell people that you have someone in your life who you love and respect who is supportive of Russia, I think that most people will respond with a but bombs are bad attitude, and most people will say, what are you doing? And why is this person in your life?
I know people will say that.
Then how do you defend your friend?
That's the thing, because I'm questioning, like I said, you cannot, like I've been so affected by this. This is why I'm here today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
how do you defend someone who, by saying that, seemingly indicates that they also are in support of human atrocities?
That's what I can't get my head around. It's mind fucking me because.
So then I'm going to say, then perhaps sometimes, Sylvia, no matter how supportive of you some people are, sometimes by association with things that you inherently cannot accept in your life, you cannot accept them in your life.
Yeah, hence I know I want her in my life, and I guess in the sense that I'm going to Queensland, it's not as big of a deal, right?
There will be a distancing.
Yeah.
And it's easier to manage.
But because like I think I told my sister about the Trump supporting, and even just that alone was sort of like questioning, why is this person, and when I think of it, if it was, say, you, roles reversed, and it was you in this situation, I first thing would be asking is, why is this person in your life? And
so let's pretend, let me ask you, why is this person in your life?
I think she's helping me really learn. Look, I am an emotional person. Everybody knows that. But even she herself has said, and she said it yesterday, she's like, I'm incredibly proud of how you kept your shit together.
Yeah. But why is this person in your life after we learn the lesson of emotional regulation?
I feel for her.
No.
And I don't know.
Okay, that's not a good answer. So why is this person in my life? Because right now they're value adding in a certain way, they're teaching me something. But once a lesson is learned, once a goal is met, why is this person in your life?
And that's why I feel bad, because I honestly thought I could see tears in her eyes when I said to her, you are the only person ever who I'm allowing in my life with these beliefs. And she was so like, why would you judge a person on this? And I'm like, I don't even know how to explain how.
Because I cannot associate with support of human suffering.
Yes, I needed to hear that, because it's I mean, just, you probably could see that I was like shaking, trying to tell you to begin with.
I'm trying to say, okay, look, the values are the same, but are they? Because, well, she says human suffering is unacceptable, and I guess it comes back to the issue of, does it matter who fired first? We need it to stop firing.
Yes.
And if there's no support of that statement, then you are not on the same page.
Yeah, because she just has these opinions, and it's any time I try to state something.
If it's an ongoing support of ongoing suffering, it's like, then it doesn't align with your values.
Yeah, I know. Hence, I feel so confused, because even with everything I've told you, I still think she's in my life for a reason. There isn't any part of me that feels like I need to end the friendship. Though on saying that, I've had to warn both her and my mother, under no circumstances are politics allowed to be discussed. And my mum was like, religion and politics, two things you never talk about. And I said that to Ellie, and she's like, yeah, that's true. But I'm actually nervous.
But at some point, I think that this will create an issue for your friendship. It's already created a friendship for your.
Every single time I see her, without fail, she brings it up, and she uses the same thing. We're having a debate, and she loves to tell me about my uni. Oh, there's no way you could be a therapist, you take everything too personally. What if you were seeing someone and, it was too this, and I'm like, A, don't want to be a therapist, yeah? I'm like, B, like,
because you can have a different opinion, and it doesn't have to engage into a debate.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I keep saying to her, I don't want to debate you. I don't have any interest in debating you. And I was like, no point in the last year and a half have I ever wanted this. I'm like, in fact, every time.
The more she talks about her political beliefs, the more impact there will be on your friendship, because there highlights a differentiation in a value structure, which is very clear.
Thank you, because I feel like I've been going crazy questioning why this is affecting me so much, but it really is.
The more she talks about politics, the more it identifies a difference in your value structure, how you, and maybe not value structure, but how you weight things in your decision making. Trump, for example, I don't care about his parking thing, I'll care about his character.
See, we use Trump as an example. I couldn't care less that he had sex with an escort. I'm all in support of sex workers.
Exactly.
But I said to her, I think you
Let's
should.
make sure it's consensual.
Consensual.
But if for example it wasn't consensual, would that then change your opinion?
Absolutely, of course it
would.
would.
If, for example, there was an association with
like the hush money thing, like that was wrong. What he did, trying to hide all this shit. The fact that he actually had sex with an escort, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So honesty is in your value structure. Like
It's
I don't care what it is, just be open about it.
Well, it's the most important thing because in the last few minutes,
So the more honest it is, the better it is. But at the same time, seemingly not with Ellie.
Yeah, but
because the more honest it is, the more it identifies inherent differences in your core ideas.
Yes, and I'm becoming better and calmer and able to control myself and like walk out of the room and breathe, which is all good.
Communicate when we're not discussing politics that actually these conversations are impacting the strength of our friendship. We shouldn't do that. Perfect. If you value the friendship, then you shouldn't do that.
I know she does because she was cut when I said it.
Who gives a shit whether she's a Trump supporter or not? Let's just not discuss it.
That's exactly what I said.
Let's just leave that over there because it always results in conflict, and then it results in the things that hurt you, which is the values issue, which is
you saying that I'm being attacked has fucking helped so much because I've not knowing what's causing it. Yeah. Like she used this, ignorance, and I looked at her and said, "You're calling me ignorant." And she goes, "No." And then yesterday I was like, "You were calling me ignorant. Yeah. Let's agree." Yeah. But again, like I said, I pulled it out and I was happy. And it's funny. So
tell me what else you got, because I got a 2 o'clock.
I know. So turns out the degree I'm doing, the estimated price, 8,404, not even a little bit, right? So I'm enrolled for 4 units starting in trimester 2, right? And as I've said, I'm enrolled to download the information and then withdraw, yeah? I went to get the invoice based on the estimated first year fee. I believed I had enough money to pay 1.5 trimesters, so roughly 6 units, yeah? Okay. So I got the invoice. I don't even have enough for the first 4, right? 7,300 and change for 4 units.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so each of them, so the research dissertation parts that make up the 4 part, they're 555 each. Yeah. There's 1 unit that's 1,118. Every other one is $2,040. Oh. And I was averaging 900, right? So obviously,
did you call the school?
Yeah, immediately. And I was like, can you just confirm the rates? Like, I think these are full paying. Anyway, they did this check and they're like, no, government stopped providing much for the arts. So all the prices have skyrocketed. She's like, that is the government subsidy fee. And I was like, okay. So I immediately thought, well, I better make sure I'm doing the right degree because I was like, it's costing a lot more, yeah? So I went in and I looked at philosophy honours and I was looking at the philosophy path and that was confusing. So I emailed the head of the philosophy department and we had a Zoom meeting on Monday and we went through it all because to do a master in philosophy, for example, the eligibility is you have to have done a thesis worth 25% of the grade. And that's obviously 4th year, right? Honours. Yeah. So then I had this thought, I can bypass that because the master's degree I'm doing has a 40,000 word dissertation. It's 50%, yeah? So when I spoke to the department, I was like, technically, couldn't I use the Masters of Writing as the gateway into the philosophy major if I wanted to, philosophy masters? And I thought that was really clever. And he was like, totally different kinds of writing, yeah? So I was talking about it and I've gone, because it's back and forth, yeah? So 1 year of honours in philosophy is nearly 16 grand. Now I've worked out the master's degree to about 23,000, right? And I did go back and forth. I've decided that the Masters is the one that's going to be best because it's going to teach me stuff I can use career-wise, like engaging in the audience and this and that. But I was really thinking about it, and it's like I want to bring philosophy into what I do, so that's sort of all over the place. But yeah, so I guess when I saw the invoice, I was like, wow, not even a little bit what I was expecting. But I could have decided to just go, I'm not doing it, right?
But you didn't.
But I'm not. And I feel like that says something, like I'm really happy about that.
I think you're doing really well, Olivia. Like, I think that you're implementing skills, you're trying new things, you're giving it a crack, you're living your life, you're reacting significantly better to things than you have in the past, you're communicating, you're establishing friendships, you're trusting yourself, you're allowing vulnerability. Okay. Life isn't always about, doing everything perfect. Life is about living. And you're giving it red hot go.
Yeah, and Mum's here until the end of the school holidays.
She's here now?
She arrives on Saturday.
Oh, exciting.
I know, and she's staying with me for the first time ever. Right?
Yeah. Don't talk about politics, bless.
I know, right? All I really care about is my neighbour was meant to mow my lawns tomorrow, and it's been raining. And I messaged Mum this morning going, I'm worried about the lawns. And she goes, I don't care.
She's not coming to see your garden.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
also he'll probably do them anyway.
Yeah, he's because I said it's for my mum and things like that. But I guess the only thing I want to ask you before we finish up is I'm obviously working out when I'm going to go. I found this roof rack.
You're going in June?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to decide because I found this amazing roof rack luggage compartment, and I can get it for like $69 on eBay, and it fits 4 suitcases, tents, and it's massive. Yeah. Because
make sure you measure the height when you're going under the bridges.
Thank you for that. Yes, I keep remembering certain things. I've got to write them down. But because my mum's here until the 5th and uni opens on the 7th, and I technically, I emailed about my disability stuff. Yeah, my bad. And all of that to start getting, because I get all my texts sent to me via PDFs, right? So that's why I'm doing that. But I guess my thoughts are I'm going to aim for the end of the month, but even if I'm here for that sort of first week, because my mum's going to help me, and I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Whenever it's the right time, you go. When it's done, you go. It's not like you're getting, gotta hand my keys back on this date at this time. You have flexibility.
Exactly.
Embrace flex.
That's what Mum said. She was like, don't rush it. It'll be fine.
Just go when it's time.
All right, awesome. I'll turn this off now.